Hi, this is Rick of Ironman Miami 2012. This is my video log where I discuss my preparations for racing in the Miami Ironman 2012 70.3 race. You know, each podcast I always start off with my numbers, so let's get to them right away. My weight this week was 196 pounds, exactly 196 pounds. As far as workouts, I lifted weights this week. I swam once for 1 mile. I biked once for 5.4 miles, and I ran twice for 6.8 miles. So I'm pretty happy with what direction I'm going with as far as that goes. Now this week I'm going to be talking about podcasts I listen to that help me keep me focused, that give me some knowledge. I listen to them at work and I listen to them on the run. So let's go down the list together. As I'm describing them, I'll put some information up there on the board. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Age Grouper podcast, an amazing podcast with a couple fellows named Jeff and Eric. A very good podcast. I like the way they play off each other. Now I use a workout workout chart spreadsheet to keep track of my workouts, and I got that off their webpage, so it's worth a peek just for that. Not a lot of hard information. They play off each other, they chat a lot. Not a lot of hard reviews, but it's really interesting because you get to meet triathletes on a really personal level. I mean, a very personal level. They talk about, you know, the family and how working out can take away from the family. A lot of great topics are discussed with these couple of guys, and so I do recommend that you take a look at it. The next podcast is bengreenfield.com. Ben Greenfield is the podcast, whereas the Age Grouper didn't give you a lot of information, hard information. Ben Greenfield drowns you in talks about nutrition, supplements, workout. How much can you absorb is up to you. Hopefully some has stuck with me. The guy's got me taking fish oil, so obviously something has worked out with him. An amazing podcast. If people send him questions, he'll answer them. Everything from marijuana use during workouts to how much fish oil to take and other things, and learned a lot about different supplements that are good and other ones that are a waste of money. Definitely worth checking out. The next podcast that I'm going to discuss with you is I Am Talk, Everything Ironman. These two guys are out of New Zealand. It's an excellent podcast. A couple of fellows, they have excellent guests on, a weekly podcast, so I always like that. You know it's going to be coming out. The only thing about it, they have a very tough accent to follow. Guys named John and Bevan. A couple of good guys. They're professional triathletes, whereas the other two in Age Groupers are not professionals. These guys are professionals. John and Bevan I love. Once again, just difficult to understand their accents sometimes. Definitely, though, worth a look. Like I said, they are consistent keeping their podcast out there, so you always have something to review, something to listen to. The final podcast that I'm going to discuss is Zen and the Art of Triathlons. Whereas Ben Greenfield is heavy in data, this one right here is kind of all over the place. He has reviews of equipment, he has interviews where they discuss certain topics, but once again, all over the place. It can get very spiritual. Heck, it can get very esoteric sometimes, this podcast. But it is a fine a broadcasting podcast. I love it. I find it very interesting. I've learned a lot from this guy, more than just facts and figures. Once again, I learned some stuff about inner strength and moving forward. One of my favorite quotes from him is, if you're going to do dishes, then just do dishes. And that always helps out on the runs when I need to refocus and concentrate. Now this weekend I am going to be at the Dreher Park Dash. It is a 5K. I'll do some video there and I'll tell you how I did on my times. I'll tell you how I did on my previous time. Once again, Dreher Park Dash, I'll leave the website up so you guys can take a look at it. So this is Rick Gonzalez of Ironman Miami 2012, and until I see you again, I hope your workouts are great and I hope you have an injury-free week, and you take care, guys.